Okay, and here is the first game. So, obviously I would like to play first. And this is a hand that I guess is good enough to keep. I will be honest, I did miss Lorwyn block standard format, and I missed most of Shards Valara block standard format, so Jund is a deck that I caught the tail end of, and only in playing against. But this is a hand that on the play against a random guy, you have a Bloodbraid Elf, but nowhere near enough mana to cast it. Plenty of removal though, and if this deck draws even a single land, it should be good. Any land will be enough, since there are no more mountains in the deck. Any land is enough to cast the Sprouting Thrynax on turn 3. So I'll go ahead and keep this hand. Obviously leading turn 1 with Savage Lands. So this is a bit of a learning process for me. I've probably played, I don't know, 25 games or so with this deck over the past couple of days, and I really like what I see so far. It's sporting, I don't know, about 50% winning percentage, but for my first attempts at learning a deck, I think that's not bad. Things that I've considered so far, as well as moving Blightning back and forth between the main deck, Sprouting Thrynax has been really underwhelming for me, whereas the card Anathemancer, I don't know how you pronounce that, good luck, but it seems like it is not only really, really good in the format right now, but that it is a better 3-drop than Sprouting Thrynax, a little easier to cast, because you don't need the green source. It would mean the mana base would have to shift around a little bit. But the other alternative would be to put the Kitchen Finks in the sideboard and have Anathemancer in its place instead, running 4 of those and 4 Sprouting Thrynax. I'm really not sure what is best, and it's going to take quite a bit of testing to discover that. Let's see what this does. Wolf Skull Shaman. Okay, that's something that's just going to get lightning bolted. I've been playing against a lot of green-red decks lately, whether they're splashing black with Jund or straight green-red elves. Played against quite a few green-red elf decks today. Mostly splashing red for Bloodbraid Elf and Lightning Bolt. But I'll go ahead and Lightning Bolt this end of turn. Obviously using Terminate would use my mana a little better, but I'd rather save Terminate for something that's a little more threatening than a 2-2. Now the plan here is just to rip a land that comes into play untapped. Unfortunately that's not one, but it does better than nothing. And it still preserves potentially a Bloodbraid Elf next turn, or certainly Sprouting Thrynax will hit play. And I have an end of turn Terminate in case he decides to play a threatening enough guy. Bosk Banneret. So he's playing a, I don't know, like maybe a Doran deck? Treefolk, okay. We'll see what happens with that. I think I can let that stay in play. He's probably playing Doran the Siege Tower. I'll go ahead and cast Sprouting Thrynax and pass the turn. Maelstrom Pulse is a card that 4 of in the main deck may be unnecessary at this point. I mean, obviously it's a solid card. It is very, very powerful. And it might be wrong to cut Maelstrom Pulse before cutting a Terminate. Okay, Moldiah Channelers. This deck is very strange right now. I guess it's a Shaman-themed deck. But right now, that guy is just a 2-2. This is the kind of things you see in the tournament practice room at 2 in the morning. But I like I just like getting extra practice in with the deck. Figuring out what cards are bad in which matchups will help a sideboard plan. To create a really good sideboard, the first most important step is to figure out which cards you want to take out for each matchup, rather than figure out which cards are going to go in. That's the mistake that most people make. So here I have a decision to make. I can either play the Bloodbraid Elf and smash with my team, or I can go ahead and terminate the Moldiah Channelers now. But he's got 4 cards in his hand, 4 lands in play already. But that would let him cast Doran, which I can also terminate. And I can cast 2... I can only cast 1 Terminate next turn. So I think what I'm going to do is play the Bloodbraid Elf. This may be a mistake, but what this allows me to do is to... Obviously, I could Bloodbraid Elf into a Maelstrom Pulse or a Lightning Bolt or something, and basically get exactly what I wanted already, or I can just play another Sprouting Thrynax. But right now, I guess I'm playing the beatdown right now. I'm putting him in a position to where he has to play the control deck and answer my threats, and I really like that position right now with my hand of 2 Maelstrom Pulses and 2 Terminates. So Bloodbraid Elf will hit play. Hopefully he doesn't have a lightning bolt or anything of the sort, but we'll see. And go ahead and attack. Now, I have no idea if any or all of these games are going to make the end video. Maybe I'll just include all of them. If I'll upload this to YouTube either way, but whether it makes it onto quiet speculation or not, or the brewery, will remain to be seen. Yeah, lightning bolt on sprouting Thrynax, and go ahead and get my Saprolings. So I mean, sprouting Thrynax is a very solid card, and it's not that I don't like it. I just wonder whether Anathemancer would be better in the main deck, and if it is, it's going to have to replace either Sprouting Thrynax or Kitchen Finks. And the other alternative, of course, would be to sideboard Anathemancer, but I do believe I was looking through the extended daily events of the last couple of days, and most of the Jund decks that were 3-1 or better had a playset of Anathemancer in the main deck, usually replacing Kitchen Finks. I think Sprouting Thrynax is pretty ubiquitous in the Jund builds that I've been seeing. So this is actually kind of ugly now. He draws Oracle of Modiah off the top. I guess it's sitting on the top of his library, so he's going to draw that next turn, so that's actually not as bad. Modiah Channelers is an interesting card. I mean, I've seen it played in Standard a little bit. I'm obviously seeing it playing a little bit in Extended, but it's never really broken through to a Tier 1 deck. I have my doubts that this guy's deck is Tier 1 right now, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously drawing a black mana source that comes into play untapped, which there aren't really that many of them. That makes things a lot better for me. Rage Forger. For each other shaman you control. Okay, so it's a 5/5. Okay. Interesting. So I guess he's playing a shaman deck. Green-red shamans. Interesting. I am going to blow him out with Maelstrom Pulse this turn. It's going to be pretty cool. Why did these get +1/+1 counters? Ah, I see. I misread that. So +1/+1 counter on each other shaman he controls, not +1/+1 counter on him for each shaman. I'll go ahead and take 6. I don't really care about that. And I'll take 1 from the Rage Forge. It's kind of a cool card, though. Not particularly powerful as far as I'm concerned, but kind of cool. I could also block with a Sprouting Thrynax, not lose any power, but I'd rather just have that 3/3. I'm not too threatened with his 1 card in hand. His Oracle will die on the top of the library is not that threatening either with 2 Terminates. And what will be 1 Maelstrom Pulse. So I wish I could just play the Blood Raid Elf here, but I will play it a little safer and go ahead and Maelstrom Pulse his Modiah Channelers and swing with my team. Well, that's kind of obnoxious. It's 2/4. Attacking the Saprolings or not, so let's see. He's going to block the Thrynax with the Balsk Banneret, most likely. Or I can attack with the Bloodbraid Elf too and push through a little extra damage. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Since I have another Bloodbraid Elf in my hand, I'm going to try and push through as much damage as I can. He's obviously going to block a Saproling token with the Rage Forger and the Bloodbraid Elf with the Balsk Banneret. He's going to take 5 damage, go to 12, and... Okay, or he's just going to take it all and go to 8. This guy is not very good. Sorry, Dark Lights Jiggle, however you want to pronounce that. Don't mean to insult you, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of your play. Masked Admirers. Enters the battlefield, draw a card. Interesting. Interesting little card advantage engine there. Your deck is fascinating, but I'm not sure it's particularly powerful, I'm sorry to say. Thankfully, what this Jund deck has been showing me lately is it does deal with the janky decks pretty well. Whereas a deck like 4-color Control, I don't know if it would have a difficult time with this. But... Okay, I'll take 2 and go to 10. because the control decks in this format are able to pack a lot of really powerful answers, but Jund is able to pack a lot of really powerful threats, some extremely good card advantage, Bloodbraid Elf, Maelstrom Pulse, Bituminous Blast. All these cards are just fantastic against decks like this. So let's see. He can attack me next turn for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the Rage Forger. What happens if I attack with my team? He's at 8, so he has to block something. He has to block one of these guys. I think the safe play is to play the Raging Ravine, keep Terminate mana up, and just attack with these guys. If I play the Bloodbraid Elf, he is going to take a minimum of 3, 4, 5, 6 damage going to 2. I would have a win if a Maelstrom Pulse or a Lightning Bolt comes off the top, and he's drawing a very unthreatening creature on the top of his deck. So I think I can go ahead and play the Bloodbraid Elf and go all in on an attack step here. That's pretty darn good too. I'll cast Kitchen Finks. Gain 2 life, get an extra blocker. Kitchen Finks has been fantastic for me. The mana base is able to support him quite well. Oh, this is a little bit of a heavier green-based land base. It's an awkward sentence. Than most Jund decks probably have. I like that the deck only has 1 Twilight Mire, only 1 filter land, but that's mostly because they're freaking expensive. 20 plus tickets per. Stagger Shock. Wow. You got me. Okay. Oh, you're still going to have to block me. 6 coming in for 9 damage. You have to block at least a Thrynax or a Bloodbraid Elf. He's probably going to block Bloodbraid Elf with a Rage Forger, would be my guess. And then a token with the Oracle. That still leaves him in a pretty crappy position. He's not going to win this game. Although, let's see if there's any card he could top deck to make that happen. I think 5, going to 3. And I'll pass the turn. I also have Raging Ravine that can attack next turn, which is, this card has been exceptional for me as well. Today, I've probably played a dozen games today, just against just random game ones, and it's been the card that's gotten me the win on at least 2 of those. Okay, that's a strange choice, because he's just going to come back, and I'm going to gain 2. The first few times I played Kitchen Finks against the Fairies deck, I was slightly impressed because he's just a good solid 3-power guy. He helps win a race when Bitter Blossom is involved. But then when I started thinking about it, Anathemancer is just extremely... Let's see what he just said. He says, Kitchen Finks has just made that deck just that much more annoying to play against. Well, that and Demigod of Revenge. This version does not have Demigod of Revenge. Actually, the version of Jund that I'm looking at, let's see what he does. He's going to get his Fauna Shaman. But little does he know, I have 2 Terminates in hand and lethal damage on the board, I believe. Let's see, it'll be close as to whether it will be or not. I don't know if there's a way for him to do it. 1, 2, 3. Nah, he couldn't have drawn with his Masked Admirers even if he wanted to. What was I saying? So Kitchen Finks is helping me win races against Bitter Blossom, but I would be falling short in the end, and I would end the game obviously dead. My opponent would end the game, single-digit life total, 5 life, 6 life, something of the sort. And almost every time, what? Okay, you can attack. They really don't mind that. Alright, black, red, terminate your Oracle. terminate your Fauna Shaman. And then go ahead and attack for the win. So that was an interesting match, game. I will see what comes up next. Thanks for watching.